everyone. Welcome to Chai and Book Girl. My name is Amanda, and as you can see, I got book mail. I know this is a little bit later than what I had told you guys that this was going to be recorded, but I just barely, like an hour ago, got my last box from Book Outlet. It finally got here, and so I am ready to do my book mail book haul. So let's get into it. Okay, so we've got a couple of different piles to get through today. So I think we will start over here. I've got one to show you that I got from Dollar Tree. So this is actually a Christmas one. I thought it was super cute though, because we've got some super fun foiling here on the front. It's called Bright Lights Big Christmas by Mary Kay Andrews. I mean, for $1.50. I love holiday Christmas books. We've got some fun snowflake end papers. Anyway, I just thought it was super cute. It was the only one there. And so I thought that I would grab it just, for something to read during the holidays. Let me grab my glasses. Forgot my glasses. And I will tell you what this is about. Okay, so we have, this is kind of a slice of small town, but it's in the middle of New York. So this is going to be kind of fun. So this lady, her name is Carrie. She used to work for a Christmas tree farm in North Carolina. She is recently unemployed. She's romantically unattached, and so she reluctantly agrees to go with her older brother and live in a tiny vintage camper on the corner of Greenwich Village in New York to sell Christmas trees. This is going to be like a family run tree stand just on this quirky little corner of the city. And she meets all these people that kind of live in the area, and she gets to know them. She comes to love them, and they become members of kind of this small little quirky community where they are selling Christmas trees on the corner right in the middle of New York. I don't know if Greenwich Village is right in the middle of New York. Anyway, it sounds super cute. Just kind of a cute little, I don't know, small town Christmas, Christmas novel. I don't know. For $1.50, I thought, you know what? That sounds super cute. And I really enjoyed the cover. So, okay, then I got my Book of the Month box. And for this month, we've got The Shrouded Queen by Ashley Tropia. I'm not sure if that's how you say her last name. Tropia. Okay, but look at this cover. Isn't that nice? We've got some gold foiling on there. Really cool. Okay, so this book, a slave and a princess switch places to survive igniting parallel journeys of love and destiny. So Samira is a slave to the Ashoran royals. So this is definitely a fantasy. She's always known that she was expendable. When the vicious called folk attack, she is ready to die as a decoy for her princess. But she is captured instead and is forced to impersonate the princess and survive through brutal trials, all under the watch of a dangerously intriguing shape-shifting captor. Aminet Kata, now the queen, is on the run following the king's death. Oh, so this is the princess. With only her guard with benefits, Jassim, by her side, she must evade treacherous allies while racing to contact her father, the god of the underworld, before her long-promised powers slip beyond reach. While Aminet embarks on a quest through the wastelands, Samira learns the true reason for the attack and unlocks secrets in her past that could change everything. Okay, so we've got two different women, two different journeys, and two different romances. And it sounds like they are all going on at the same time. So this one's going to be interesting. I wonder if this is going to be kind of an epic world building type thing where there's going to be like a sequel, if this is going to be like part of a series, or if this is just going to be a standalone. Sounds very Egyptian, but obviously these are fantasy worlds, but it sounds like there's a bit kind of Egyptian leaning towards that. So anyway, it sounds good. Okay, next we have my Books A Million stack. So on my last visit to Books A Million, which I've made way too many visits, I got What Lurks Between the Fates by Harper L. Woods. This was on the bargain shelf. Something I did not realize, that a little tip that I'll give you guys. So an employee at Books A Million told me to always check the bargain shelves first, because a lot of times they will put the same exact books that they have out on the regular shelves. They will put several copies on the bargain shelves, and they're the exact same book. They're the exact same copies. They just have too many copies. And so they'll put the same books on the bargain shelves so you can get them for much cheaper than grabbing them out on the regular shelves. So anyway, little tip for you, always go to the bargain shelves first, especially if you're looking for something in particular. So this is the third book in the series of Flesh and Bone. I already have the first two. I didn't have the third one, and so that's why I grabbed this one. We've got the sprayed edges, which is pretty. I have not read the first two books in this series. I have read the Coven of Bones series by Harper L. Woods, and I really enjoyed it. So I'm hoping that this series is also going to be good. So I can't really tell you much about it because I haven't read the series, and any synopsis I give you of this one isn't going to make any sense because obviously it's the third book in the series. So, okay, the next one I got was Alcott Hall. This is the third book in the Second Sons series. Oh, look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? I already have the first two books in this series. I have not read them yet. You see that? Isn't that pretty? These are Regency type or historical Regency type romances. From what I understand, they are why choose reverse harem type books. Again, this is another book in a series that I haven't read, so any synopsis that I give you is not going to make sense in this context. I will tell you I'm excited about it though, and that all of the books in this series are stunning. They're beautiful. Okay, the next one I grabbed on the bargain shelf was Manslaughter Park. This is by Tirzah Price. And this is a Jane Austen murder mystery. It doesn't like go in succession. In other words, this is part of a series, the Jane Austen murder mystery series, but I do not believe you have to read them in order. There is also Pride and Premeditation, Sense and Second Degree Murder, and then Manslaughter Park, which is this one. I haven't read any of them, and this is actually the only one that I own. I have looked at these books and I've really wanted to read them, and so when I saw this on the bargain shelf, I grabbed it. It says Mansfield Park is the center of a deadly crime in the third book of the Jane Austen murder mystery series. Okay, so I lied. So you do need to read these in order. So I'm going to have to get the first two books before I start this series. So again, I won't be able to tell you much about these. Okay, then I got West of Wicked by Nikki St. Crow. I love Nikki St. Crow. She is one of my favorite authors. I really enjoyed her Demon series that now I can't remember the name of. I'll try and put an overlay of it for you, but I really enjoyed that series. So this is the Great and Terrible Land series. This is a kind of Wizard of Oz spinoff, or not spinoff, but kind of Wizard of Oz retelling turned on its head. We've got some beautiful sprayed edges, and we've got really pretty end papers here. So we've got Dorothy Gale doesn't know where she came from. At the age of 5, she was dropped off on Em and Henry's doorstep while a terrible storm rolled across the Kansas prairie. Now an adult, Dorothy has made the most of her life on the farm. But when a cyclone tears through the night, ripping her, her dog, and the farmhouse away, Dorothy wakes to find herself far away from home in the strange, cursed land of Oz. Desperate to find her way back, Dorothy takes the advice of the Witch of the North and sets off on the yellow brick road to find a wizard, with a warning to avoid forest monsters, heartless mercenaries, and wicked witches. It isn't long before Dorothy encounters the dark side of Oz, stumbling upon a man beaten and bloody tied to a pole in a cornfield, not unlike the scarecrows on the Kansas farm. With no memories, the mysterious stranger joins Dorothy. Rook is ridiculously handsome, endlessly charming, and somehow understands Dorothy in a way no one ever has. But when they cross paths with the infamous Tin Man and his axe, Rook proves he may be hiding his own secrets. Nothing and no one is what they seem in the cursed land of Oz, maybe even Dorothy herself. Okay, so this sounds like it is going to be definitely a romantasy, could definitely be dark romance, and could definitely be reverse harem why choose. It sounds like Dorothy is going to get herself into some situations with the Scarecrow and the Tin Man. So anyway, I'm really excited to read it. It's a beautiful book, and I love Nikki St. Crow. So okay, then if you guys remember from my last book haul I did, I got most of the complete set of Dungeon Crawler Carl, the hardbacks that were signed. This is the graphic novel that is also signed that I wanted to add to my collection. So we've got Princess Donut, we've got Carl, and it's just a fun graphic novel. I believe this follows the first book about him getting pulled into the dungeon. Yeah, with his Crocs. Anyway, so this is just a fun addition to my DCC books. Okay, and then last from Books a Million, I've got, if I can get it out of here, I've got a autographed edition of The Midnight Train by Matt Haig. So this one has been doing the rounds on the TikTok and on Instagram. So this is by the same author that did The Midnight Library. You do not have to have read The Midnight Library, which I have not, to enjoy The Midnight Train, for what I understand. I know The Midnight Library is a favorite of a lot of people. It is on my TBR list. I would really love to read it. This one, The Midnight Train, when your life flashes before your eyes, what will matter most? For Wilbur, it was his time with Maggie, the love of his life, their honeymoon in Venice before he threw it all away. Years later, on the brink of his own death, a train arrives. It can take Wilbur back in time to relive his most important moments. Soon he realizes just how much he would have changed, but is it already too late? An adventure through time, The Midnight Train is a novel of wonder and transformation. So yeah, this is supposed to be a very emotional, it's quite the emotional journey that you take with this train and with Wilbur. So I did get a signed copy, and so I'm really excited to read this one as well as The Midnight Library. I probably will start with the library and then go with the train. I'm excited to read it. I probably will actually spray these edges myself, because I feel like this is just calling for like a sprayed edge with a train track. Don't you feel like? So I'll probably do that. Okay, next we have my Aardvark book club book box, and I got 3 books this time. The first one I got is Mate by Ali Hazelwood. This is the sequel to Bride, which I loved. I thought Bride was amazing. I can't believe I have not read Mate yet. So I am excited that I got this. Can finally get into that. We have It Should Have Been You by Andrea Mara. This is a thriller. This is on my 26 and 26 list. I am very excited about this one. So this says, your neighbors have secrets. How far would they go to keep them? You press send and your message disappears. Full of secrets about your neighbors, it is meant for your 2 sisters, but it doesn't reach them. It goes to the entire local community WhatsApp group instead. As rumors spread like wildfire through the picture-perfect neighborhood, you convince yourself that people will move on, that it will be quickly forgotten. But then you receive the first death threat. The next day you learn a woman has been murdered. And what's even more chilling is that she has the same address as you, but in a different part of town. Did the killer get the wrong house? It won't be long before you find out. So yeah, this is supposed to be a thriller. I'm very excited to read it. And now that I have a physical copy, I can just get right on that. Along with all the other books I have. And then the last one I got in my book box is Headlights by CJ Lead. This is a horror novel. And it sounds really good. It sounds so creepy. Oh my gosh. Every instinct tells him to run. Every memory tells him he can't. Special Agent Daniel Stansfield is ready for a change. Burnt out and defeated by the job, it's his last day with the FBI. But before he can turn in his badge, he's summoned back to Denver, the city he ran from 4 years ago, with a chilling message. It's happening again. Seemingly innocent people are waking up on the side of the highway with no memory of how they got there, wearing the skin of victims they've allegedly never met. And they each share one haunting detail. A strand of a stranger's hair is tied around their tongue. That's even more disturbing. Now Daniel is pulled back into the gruesome cycle, and every clue leads him deeper into the shadows of his own past. He will have to confront the ghosts of his traumatic childhood and face what's been haunting him all along before he and the people he loves becomes the next victims. Oh, doesn't that just sound horrifying? Oh. Anyway, so I did good on my Aardvark box. I got my shifter romance, I got my thriller, and I got a horror. So I did good on that one. Okay, then today I finally got my books from Book Outlet. As you may know, Book Outlet does their $5.99 sale, where you can go on and get all kinds of great books for $5.99. It is such a deal. So I got a nice stack. So the first book I got was A Fellowship of Librarians and Dragons. This is the Adenshire book 2. I have book 1 and I have read it. Book 1 was super cute. It had a lot of found family. It was a fantasy. It was called A Fellowship of Bakers and Magic. It was about a baking challenge that our female main character goes to. She ends up winning it. She ends up finding a family that she never had before, and it's super cute. She meets somebody and they end up falling in love, and it was just very cute, very cozy romance slash fantasy. This is by Jay Penner. We've got some fun teal sprayed edges. And this one, well, this isn't going to make any sense because you would have had to read the first one first. So anyway, this is a continuation of that first book. So I'm excited to read this. Okay, next we have Blackthorn by J.T. Jessinger, which I'm probably not saying that right. So we've got beautiful sprayed edges, and we've got some really fun interiors. So J.T. Jessinger, the only other book that I have read from her is Pen Pal, and I adored that book. That book was so good. I really, really enjoyed that one. Oh, I was really excited that this was on sale, especially whenever I do Book Outlet on the sale. I always try and look for the ones with sprayed edges because, I mean, for $5.99 for the sprayed edges and the special edition ones, that's a really great deal. So. Okay, so this says, you never forget your first love, especially when he's also your worst nightmare. Okay, we have some dark romance, so this is definitely right up her alley. 12 years ago, Maven Blackthorn fled her small hometown, leaving behind the wreckage of her mother's suspicious death. But now, drawn back for her grandmother's funeral, Maven steps onto Blackthorn's soil once more, only to find herself thrust into a fresh nightmare. Her grandmother's body has vanished. Oh dear. The Blackthorns immediately suspect the Crofts, the ruthless titans of Croft Pharmaceuticals, whose bitter blood feud with the Blackthorns has spanned generations. But when Maven comes face to face with Ronan Croft, the son of her mother's suspected killer, and the only man she's ever loved, she discovers the forbidden passion they once shared is as alive and dangerous as ever. As long-buried family secrets claw their way to the surface, betrayal lurks behind every whisper, and old vendettas ignite anew. The deeper Maven digs for answers, the more treacherous the game becomes. And the one man she can never seem to escape is hiding a truth that can burn their whole world down. Okay, so we've definitely got some forbidden love. We've definitely got a dark romance happening. This sounds like quintessential J.T. Jessinger. So I'm excited to read this one. You kind of have to be in the mood for this kind of dark romance because you know that there's going to be a lot of angst in it, but hopefully eventually they'll get their happily ever after at the end. So anyway, that's Blackthorn. Okay, then we have Never the Roses by Jennifer Lambert. We've got more beautiful sprayed edges. And got some really pretty end papers in here. Okay, lovely. This is definitely a romantasy. We've got a fantasy world happening here. So this one, Never the Roses, this is one that made the social media rounds, but I think it was more last year. I remember seeing it, but I didn't really kind of jump on the train for it. But I do remember kind of seeing this make its rounds back then. All she wanted was one look at the library of her greatest enemy. And after a lifetime of being wielded against each other, they finally meet. The dread sorceress Onira has retired. She's exhausted from fighting the endless wars of kings and queens and has long accepted that her death is near. Alone at last, but for a few uninvited companions, a near-mythical wolf, a goddess's avatar, and a feline that embodies magic itself, Oniria realizes that she's bored. On a whim, or perhaps at the behest of fate, she makes an unlikely trip to the most extensive library in existence, the home of her most powerful rival, the sorcerer Stenaros? Steranos. I don't know. By recklessly stealing a book from him, Oniria inadvertently initiates a forbidden correspondence. Taunting notes and clever retorts reveal a connection neither has found nor could ever find in any other. But Oniria soon learns that Steranos, I don't know how to say that, is bound to a vile king and tasked with waging war on the queen she once served. A relationship with him is far too dangerous to pursue despite their mutual desire, and yet Oniria can't seem to stay away. A bond with him could alight the long extinct flame of life within her, or it could destroy her entirely. Definitely romantasy. That sounds very good. Anything that has to do with libraries, I love. So we've got libraries, we've got books, we've got a forbidden correspondence, we've got romance, so this sounds really good. Okay. Oh, I was so looking forward to this. We've got Heads Will Roll by Josh Winning. This one is going into my Summerween pile. I'm super excited for it. This one has been recommended several times by several of the kind of horror channels that I follow for like horror movies and things like that. I love like the 80s horror slasher films and a lot of those old school horror. And so I follow several different channels on YouTube with a lot of different content creators that are kind of into that same thing. And a lot of them have said that this is an excellent book if you're into that kind of thing. So I'm very excited about this. Okay, Willow's worst nightmare was being canceled, but the shadows in the woods of Camp Castaway might destroy more than her reputation. We have a camp. After sitcom star Willow tweets herself into infamy and stumbles blind drunk into a swimming pool, her agent ships her off to Camp Castaway. Nestled deep in upstate New York, Castaway is a summer camp for adults who are desperate to leave their mistakes behind. No real names, no phones, no way to call for help. Yes. Willow's fellow campers seem okay. Her own favorite actress is even here, making a s'more. And did that jaded writer Danny just wink at her? But the peaceful vibe is shattered when one of the campers vanishes and Willow finds a mutilated doll's head in her room with a threatening message rolled up inside. Yes. Terror grips the group. Campers begin to lose their heads, literally, and disturbing past deeds come to light. Is Willow about to get canceled all over again? This time for good? Yes! Oh my gosh, this is right up my alley. I love this so much. Oh, we've got bloody axes and s'mores. This is going to be a dang good time for Summerween. Okay, next we've got We Live Here Now by Sarah Pimborough. We've got some lovely sprayed edges. Do we have any end papers? Doesn't look like we have any end papers. So again, this is another one. This is kind of a horror thriller that made its rounds on social media. I decided to grab it because I was very intrigued by it. I remember being intrigued by this when it first came out and thinking to myself, I really need to read that. And I almost wanted to read it for like my Halloween, my spooky season reads. Maybe I'll do it for Summerween. Anyway, it's a thought. Okay, after an accident that nearly killed her, Emily and her husband Freddie move from London to a beautiful Dartmoor country house called Larkin Lodge. The house is gorgeous, striking, and to Emily, something about it feels deeply wrong. Old boards creak at night, fires go out, and books fall from the shelves, and all of it stems from the terrible presence she feels in the third-floor bedroom. But all these things only happen when Emily's alone, so are they happening at all? She's still medically fragile. Her post-sepsis condition can cause hallucinatory side effects, which means she can't fully trust her own senses. Freddie doesn't notice anything odd and is happy with her chance at a fresh start. Emily, however, starts to believe that the house is being haunted by someone who was murdered in it, though she can find no evidence of a wrongful death. As bizarre events pile up and her marriage starts to crumble, Emily becomes obsessed with discovering the truth about Larkin Lodge. But if the house has secrets, so do Emily and their husband. And they live here now. That sounds really good, doesn't it? It reminds me of that movie, that Netflix movie with Amanda Seyfried, but I can't for the life remember the name of it now, where they move out to the countryside and she's home alone all the time because he's constantly working. And she gets involved in like a religious, not a religious cult, or maybe it's a cult. I don't know. I haven't seen it. Anyway, it's really giving me those vibes. And that might be a good Summerween one. Anyway, we'll have to see. Okay, and then the last two that I got 4 Ruined Realms and 3 Shattered Souls. I already have 5 Broken Blades. These are by My Corland. We've got the beautiful sprayed edges. I can only assume that when you put them all together, they create kind of a diorama. I have not read 5 Broken Blades. I actually have 5 Broken Blades on Audible. I really need to get on that. But anyway, it's on my list, right? I have a TBR 6 miles long. But yes, I did grab these for $5.99, beautiful edges. I wanted to make sure that I had all of them. I have heard wonderful things about the series, that it's really good. Very action-packed, so I mean, I guess you kind of have to be in the mood for that. I think it's fantasy. I believe that they're in a fantasy world. So it's not like it's like historical, like Japanese or anything like that. I think it's a fantasy samurai world. Anyway, but now I have all 3 of them, and if I can ever get around to listening to the first one on Audible, then I will be ready to go with the next 2. Anyway, wonderful, right? I have so many new books that I need to put on my TBR. So many new books that need to join the plethora of unread books that I already have everywhere else. But you know what? It makes me so happy and so joyful when book mail comes. It's some of my favorite times. Okay, so there you have it. Until then, happy reading. Bye.